everybody. Thank you for joining. This is Betting on Me podcast. This is a podcast about all things mental health, everything under the sun. I'm here to let people tell their stories because I'm genuinely interested. We're going to get to the nitty-gritty of it all. Today, I am joined by a dear friend, AJai Collins. She is dope. She's a fitness junkie. We've met at the gym. She is an entrepreneur, a business owner, and just a really beautiful individual, not just on the outside. Her story is wild. It started off about a journey to self-love, and even just talking to you, I've learned so much more. Yeah. So your journey is deeper than I even could imagine. And it is. I think when the world looks at you, they just see a beautiful face, a really beautiful, dope-ass woman, but they don't even know that you came out the trenches.
That's a fact.
You came out the fucking trenches.
That's my real trenches.
I mean, my God. They don't even know what they're getting themselves into.
No, they don't. Yes, I'm wild myself about my own story. So
yeah,
I'm ready to get it out there. I'm excited. Thank you for having me, Cree.
I'm proud of you. Thank you.
I'm excited to just have this conversation with you. We started it already, so let's get it out there.
Nuts. All right. So originally, I asked you to be on this podcast because we talked about what it's like to date over 35 in a world, especially in Atlanta, in this vain-ass city.
Whew.
And our conversation turned into something so much deeper. And while I was looking at you talk, I almost wanted to cry out of, like, happiness for you. Oh. Like, you had a glow about yourself. You had a glow about yourself. It was like you figured something out. And I think, like, our self-love journeys, we have our ebbs and flows.
Yes.
And sometimes we go head first and we keep going, and then sometimes we take some steps back and then we kind of lose our destination.
Yes.
And when I was talking to you, it seemed like this is the one. Like, you're doing the big steps and you're doing the work this time.
Yes. It was so necessary for me.
What inspired it?
What inspired it? Whew.
This go around.
We being real, right?
We started with the relationship.
Yeah, so it did. It start, well, you know what? I don't want to give that so much, you know, to be honest, because I would be giving this situation too much power. But it started with a separation, because it wasn't really a breakup. A separation from someone that, you know, I was dealing with in my life. And I was pretty shattered about it, you know, once we separated. And, you know, I took on so much, and I blamed me so much, you know, when it came to the relationship. But then it was so many levels of coming out of it, because it was like an emotional roller coaster. Like, at first I was sad because, you know, this was happening, and then I was angry because it was happening, and then I was mad because it's like I'm fighting for somebody that clearly is not fighting for me.
Okay.
And then it went into, why am I feeling this guilt?
Yeah.
Why am I carrying this when I know how this person was to me? You know, why am I holding on to that? And then I started kind of going down just my life, the path of my life, you know, and then it became a me thing, because now, you know, I can't point the finger at everybody. Like, it has to be something in me that continues to attach and align myself with broken spirits. You know, I wouldn't even call them broken, because I'm not broken, you know, but I had some broken seasons in my life, you know, so that was a broken season. And, you know, and that's just what it was. But it was like, what is going on? What happened? Like, where did it start? You know, and I got counseling, you know, I got a therapist.
Was that your first therapist?
Well, actually, no, this was my second time having a therapist, but really, I was more intentional about it. I had a therapist when I was young, but I was young, so it was just me talking to somebody. I didn't even know what we was talking about.
Right, this time.
But this time it was like, I'm grown. I know what I want to go into this, you know, what the intentions is for this. So I went into it, and then I recognized that she definitely brought something to me, and she made me aware that who I was started as a child. And that came from being in a home with a single mother. And I'm the oldest. My mom had me at 16. And I took care of my siblings, you know, because my mom had to work. So it was just me. I had to take the responsibility of holding down the fort while she was out, making sure we had a roof over our head. And that was the start of me letting go of myself. I didn't recognize that, but that was, because it wasn't about me. My sister and brother, their fathers were in their life. Mine wasn't.
Okay.
So I watched them, with their relationship with their dads, and mine was just not there,
Where was your father?
My father, at the time when I was younger, I couldn't tell you where he was. He's now in prison. So that's where he's at now. But then I didn't know who he was. He was kind of like in and out, but not really in and out. But yeah, again, just having to put so much of me away to the side for them, because I had to care for them. And I've been carrying that my entire life. Like, I literally take care of my family.
You do. You do. I have noticed that you don't have kids, but you do have a niece or nephew?
So I have a nephew, and of course I inherited nephews and nieces from my friends, their family. But yes, I have a sister. I'm the oldest. I have a little brother that's right up under me. Then I have a sister. She's 8 years apart. Me and my brother is 6 years apart. And my little sister had a son, and he is my everything. I go hard for him. I go hard for them, but I literally had I raised my sister. I had taken my sister in when I was about maybe 22 or whatever.
Oh, wow.
I took her in. She was about 16.
What were you doing at 22?
At 22, I was a makeup artist, a big makeup artist in Greenbrier Mall. A lot of people would know me as Nene. Girl, I was the girl that did everybody's brows in the city. So I was a hustler. I always was just a driven young girl. Like, I started working when I was like 14 years old. So I always had to, because I just saw, my mom go so hard, and I just wanted to, contribute to the household. So, and not even that, I just wanted so much more. Like, I would just wanted a lot for
Material
myself.
Girl.
I realized I was a material girl, but I didn't recognize it until I really got to high school. No, I'm lying. I was a material girl.
Are you close with your mom?
Me and her have grown to be very close. We had a conversation before my brother came back home, because my brother did serve some time. He served 10 years. He went to jail when he was 17. That was very hard for me, because it was like losing my child. And I just recognized I was kind of hurt by the fact that they wasn't hurting like I was hurting. Okay. So, or they wasn't taking it on like how I was taking it on. And so it kind of put a separation between me and my mom and his dad, because his dad was like a dad to me in my life. But I was very pissed at them, that they wasn't showing up for him. And so I kind of walked away. And even within that, I carried something, because I was molested when I was 15 years old by my mom's boyfriend. And that was kind of the start of where the separation came, because where the wall was built, where this strong woman came from, because again, I had to literally shelter my emotions, because this man was still in the house with us. And again, I'm loving people more than I'm loving myself. So me loving my mom and recognizing that she loves this man so much, I kept it to myself.
Was it like a repeat thing?
No, it happened once. Okay. It did. And then he left, but then he came back. But the thing that was hurtful to me was that my mom, I just felt like my mom didn't recognize that her child was hurting.
Yes.
It was a very hurtful thing. Like, I was really hurt, and I was doing things that I would never do, like coming in the house late, being disrespectful. Okay,
so you were acting out to get some attention, and she just wasn't seeing you.
But it wasn't even like I was acting out to get the attention. I was just trying. I didn't want to come home to see this man that did something to me.
But I think that the older we get, we understand, like, you could have been acting out to get attention. Like, when are you gonna see me, Mom?
Yeah.
When are you gonna see me?
That's a fact.
I'm broken and you don't see me?
Yeah, so I'm coming in and she's like demanding me to speak to him, and I'm just like, wow, you're not even recognizing that, the
why
relationship.
Why do I not want to come home?
Yeah, like even the transition in me and his relationship.
You don't think she had an inkling?
No, she did not. She had not one because, to be honest, I don't know. I don't want to put it out there, but it's just something about that season of women, like, and just how they, I don't know, the brokenness that they carry. Because, again, my mom was 16 when she had me.
Okay.
So she was learning how to be a woman. You know what I mean?
And
she had father issues. She didn't know her mother.
You said 15?
I was 15 years old. I mean, she didn't have her father in her life. So, yeah. That's what was happening. So I think she was just trying to find it out too and searching for love in all the wrong places. And yeah, she was with him. She was with him for about maybe 2 years before he decided to touch me. And the buildup of it, I didn't recognize, it until I actually went to counseling, that it was all, a play, was a plan. He was really trying to separate me and my mom. Damn. So he was like a hater. Like, everything I did, he told. If I didn't wash the dishes, he told. If I was on the phone too late, he told. If he heard whatever about me, he told. He just constantly, and I stayed on punishment. So I think he wanted to separate us. So when he did it, that I probably wouldn't speak to her about it. And then too, I had a relationship with his son's, like, you could pretty much say his sister. Mm-hmm. Me and her were best friends at the time. Yeah. So once it happened, he said some things like, and hold up, let's not take this away. He was a big coach for the community, for the recreation of the community. Okay. So people praised him. Okay.
So did you feel like if you said anything, would you be believed?
Oh, no, I didn't. I felt like I wasn't going to be believed.
Because you're just a pretty girl. Like.
Yeah, and not even that, it's so messed up, the stigma of this man that everybody is praising and worshiping, and, nobody would never see that coming from him, so it was that. And then, just how it would hurt my mom, how it would hurt my best friend, his child. He said all of these things to me. So he implanted that into me to make me believe that speaking out would definitely harm them before it would harm him. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's exactly what happened, because I didn't say anything, but it was a crazy situation. He came back afterwards, and a young lady that stayed in the community with me from Mechanicsville, Zone 3. So a friend, she was doing my hair, and she was 16 at the time. And when he came in, like everything just changed. Her whole demeanor had just changed. So I seen a shift in her. And then she asked me the question. She was like, I didn't know that was your dad. And I was like, he's not my dad. And she was like, he's not. And I'm like, no, that's my mom's boyfriend. And so she gets quiet. And so I'm like, at this point, something's up. You tell me something, I'll tell you something. Okay. Because he tried to mention that was like his first time or whatever, And when I asked her what was going on. So I told her, I said, if you tell me something, I'll tell you something. And she immediately told me that he tried to pick her up at the store and tried to get her to come to our house. She didn't know, like, the way the apartments was kind of set up. We had 2 doors, back and front, and it was a store across the street. So, but she came in the front door to come do my hair. Mm-hmm. So on the back side, it's like, she pretty much told me that he tried to hit on her, and it ended up telling her that he did something to me. Okay. And she was just close to somebody that knew him, and that's how it came out. Okay. And so my mom finally came to me, and bam, that's how she found out what happened. Yeah, well, she asked me, for the third time. How old were you when she? I was still 15.
Oh, okay. So this is still 15. Around the same time.
Yeah, it happened like in about November, around that time. It probably came out about January. Okay. Yeah.
Did they break up?
She definitely tried to kill him.
Period. Okay.
Yeah, once she found out that it was a situation, she definitely tried to do something to him in front of the police. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he ended up going to jail. We went to court. He went to jail for just a very smidgen of time. It was very short. We found out that he was out. They wanted to take him back to court, but I was kind of done dealing with it. I didn't want to keep having to relive that story all over again. I was just over it, yeah. So yeah, that's how that happened, how it came out. Yeah, but It was hard, because walking around in the community, and because it happened literally, it came out. This is like in the morning when we're going to school. So kids are outside, parents are outside, police pull up. It's a whole scene. And yeah, now I'm the person that literally is lying. Or I put myself out there. I was probably walking around the house, showing
there was
out.
just many narratives about how it happened, what happened, and why.
So it was a lie, and people definitely looked at me like I was, like I took their person away, and they didn't believe that actually happened.
That's a lot to carry at 15.
It was hard for me to walk outside.
Because going to school is hard enough. You know what I mean? With the fake shit that we have to deal with, and the weird, just, growing up, it's hard. And then to carry that's a grown woman, like, struggle. It's a big deal.
It was. That was my 9th grade year, I remember. That was the worst year of my high school life.
I bet it was.
The worst. I almost got kicked out of school.
I really hurt for you that you're younger you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, I wouldn't. I mean, of course, would I say that I don't want to wish that on anybody. You know what I mean? But that did build me to the person that I am today. Okay. You know what I mean? So the strength that I had came from that. And, and that's just that.
So that's one of the things that your therapist or counselor had helped you work through?
Yeah, well, honestly, I'm not like bothered by it like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have like PTSD when it comes to that. So it's not something that I'm not triggered by it. So it's not nothing that's really harming me. I didn't think up until not too long ago where I felt like I was triggered.
I don't have PTSD. Like, that's a heavy word, and it's a heavy thought process to say I could just put that back. And so what you're moving towards is saying, like, I didn't know that it was triggering me in some way. Like, that situation, it formed something in you.
It did.
And
Definitely.
so you carried it with you as an adult.
Definitely.
And so I think that itself is that traumatic, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So not saying you did have PTSD, but that changed you.
It did.
It changed
me a lot. It changed me a lot because, these are the first 2 men that I encountered in my life, and I was broken by these men. So it was like my trust for men was definitely not there.
And so you carried that into relationships.
I carried that into I was always 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Yeah.
Like, what's the song? She's a runner, she's a track star. That was me.
Out of there.
Like, soon as you gave me one red flag, I was pew. Like, I was known to have so many numbers in my phone. Well, so many numbers because I would change. Like, I would just get up out of there. Like, I never gave anybody the chance to do anything to me.
Yeah.
It was almost like I was ready to get you back before you was going to do something to me.
Okay, so you were always on the defense.
Always.
Always on the defense.
Always.
And, like, with your last relationship and coming out of that and starting to work on yourself and going to counseling, did that help you want to stop being on the defense? Like, were you like, I'm ready to just exist and not fight with the world? Like,
well, that was before counseling. That was like me walking into my 30s when I know I wanted to be intentional about having a family and being married. So I was married before. I got married at 29. I was married for 5 years. And that was the start of it, because I knew that, in order for me to have this family, I couldn't be that woman anymore. I couldn't be that girl. Like, I had to lean on my man a little more. I had to trust that man a little more. I had to give a lot more. So, that's what changed it. And then, of course, my grandmother is an evangelist. I grew up in church. And once I kind of got back with her, we started doing Bible study. And it was just like, I recognized that we as women, because I was real big on, I don't need a man. I don't need no man.
Yeah.
But, I'm looking at this woman that I just idolize, and she's like, no, you need one. And then when we go into the Bible, I mean, it just states at the beginning of Genesis, we come from men, so how dare us, look at that we don't need them. We're here because of them, you know? So it changed my mind, like my process in my mind, and now I started like not speaking at my husband at the time. Now it's like, okay, it kind of just brought me into my nurturing self.
Okay.
You know, it just made me a little softer
Yeah.
when it came to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's where it really started.
So with everything that was going on, how did you process that as a 15-year-old, or even just now? Like, how do you process all that pain?
So for a very long time, I didn't process it. You know, that was, again, that wall that was built up.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the start of me just not like
Disassociating
myself with everything.
Can
like,
I just say, I am like queen disassociator.
What?
Like, I have built everything
I'm talking about
on
that wall was-
disassociating from my childhood traumas, my own
everything.
PTSD. You know what? And I've had some shit that's happened to me that I'm not even ready to speak about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really commend you for even saying that shit out loud, because it's heavy.
No, it is. It's heavy, and not even that. You know, it's just how we seen others process things. You know, our mothers. You know what I mean? Like, again, if my mother wasn't, because I guess that era was that whole like, what goes on in my house stays in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody spoke about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was saying, you know, daddy was cheating on such and
Yeah.
such. No, you just know nothing. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know that my mom had been molested. And so the me now, it's like, I wish I would have dealt with it then. And I wish my mother would have said something to me about it, because, again, my younger self at 15, I'm witnessing rape on TV. So, you know, which is different. You know, it's like they're tearing off clothes and you're going to court and it's this whole big thing. And it's like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? So that's how I looked at it. And then, too, I didn't even know what rape was. You know, like, you know, it's a difference. You know, I didn't know if I really was, you know, the man tried to definitely penetrate me. You know, he couldn't really do anything, but that's rape. That was against my will, you know? So, so with that, it's just, again, it built that wall up, because it was like I didn't want to deal with it. You know, I didn't want to deal with nothing. I didn't care about my daddy. I didn't care about, you know, none of that. Again, I was just like, I give it to God. I don't want to go back to court. I was just tired of carrying that. You know what I mean? But I can say, for a very long time, I witnessed me in the relationship of men. I felt like that was me loving the man was giving myself to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like I had to have sex with a man, you know, for a man to love me. Because that was my first, you know, encounter, you know what I'm saying? So I think I went into relationships like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, just giving myself to men, you know, at a certain point in my life. And it was just like, at one point I just was like, I'm tired of this. Like, you know, because I'm walking away with nothing. I'm walking away empty. And then, to be honest, just to really top it off, sexually, I wasn't even there. It was just like, I was just a freaking dummy, to be honest.
Did you not connect with yourself sexually? Like, sex just wasn't a vibe?
I wasn't really connected sexually. Like, I really became sexually connected about 30. I'm 37, maybe 34.
What was that process like? How did you start to move into your own sexuality and taking back your femininity and your sexuality? Like,
yeah, it was just like, it felt good.
Did someone make you feel special and they cared about you?
I don't know, because, you know, to be totally honest, I wasn't like in my marriage. I got to a point where I was just so disturbed with our sex life. You know, it just wasn't it. You know, and I used to be like, yo, she's broke. Like, something's wrong. Like, she's not working. You know what I'm saying? But mentally, I just wasn't there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I wasn't mentally there with nothing.
You disassociated yourself with sex as well.
That's it. And that was a trigger too, even with that, because in a marriage, you know, they're teaching you that you have to do this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Even when you don't want to.
Even if you don't want to. And for me, that felt like rape.
Okay.
You know, that felt like rape. I'm laying here and I'm having to have sex. And even if it's my husband, but he wants it, so I got to give it to him, even if I don't want to. Yeah, like, it was like, dang, like, and I didn't, I said it to him, but it didn't matter, you know. He was very sexually hyper.
Okay.
You know, he was hyperactive when it came to that. And I just wasn't, you know. So I think when I walked away, I don't know, I think, you know, I had kind of came across somebody that, you know, kind of just sparked something into me, and it was like, ooh, this feels amazing. Mm-hmm. And now it was about me. Like, now I liked it. Now I was wanting to do it all the time. And it was like, okay, this is a me thing. Like, I finally came for the first time. I orgasmed. I'm sorry, I don't know if I could say that, but
I've cursed up a storm.
Huh?
I cussed up a storm.
That's fine.
You can say orgasm.
I orgasm, and it was like, woo, this is how it feels. So it felt good. So I was like, that was liberating for me.
Okay.
So it was like, since then, it's been about me now.
Good for you.
Yeah, but I think it was the security.
Okay.
Like, he was like a man's man, and I felt secure with him. And I was very intrigued by him. So that definitely did it. Mentally, just sexually, it was just everything to me, honestly. But he was very, like, in the streets, he was the man that everybody was kind of like scared of. He had this power, I think.
Okay.
And he made me feel comfortable.
Okay.
Because
you stated earlier, like, even in your marriage, it felt not like rape, but like you had to do something. And so, like, his comfort and his security, like, it was like, now I want to do something. Like, it felt like it gave you a choice.
Yeah, it did, because he definitely made me comfortable. Like, he sparked, my intellect. That really is a thing for me.
You felt seen.
Yes, I did. And just the conversations were just real. It was open. It was like, oh, okay, you smart. It's like, and it was deep with us. We was kind of digging deep within each other, and nobody really did that for me at that time. So I think that's what kind of opened it up. And it was just like, again, it was about me. Like, he wasn't selfish when it came to it. It was like, no, I want to make sure you're good.
That's so
like,
dope.
how does this feel to you?
Someone asked me recently, like, what do you want in a partner? And the first thing I always say is, I want to be seen. And I've only met, like, a few people who I feel like automatically saw me. And I mean, in my own trauma, I'm gonna blow it up. I'm gonna blow it up or whatever. But like, realistically, I want to feel seen, and I think that's really important when you have so much trauma. You know what I mean? Because you want to feel safe to be seen, and you want to open up, and you don't want to feel judged.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot of shit to unpack, but you're gonna see me for, like, the actual person that I am, and I don't have to mask myself.
Yeah, we was really, and to be honest, that was, now that I think about it, it was a very toxic relationship still.
But it inspired something for you to connect.
But it did. Yeah. But even coming out of that, it was like, it was easy for me, to be honest, because it was trauma bonding. I think we was both unpacking some things in each other. It was things that I was helping him unpack. I was recognizing in him, and he was recognizing things in me, and we were just kind of making things aware about each other. And I think we needed each other in that season. Yeah. From what I was coming from, and I think I needed him sexually too around that time, because I wasn't, doing that like that with him, with my ex-husband. So it just felt good for the moment. But the me now, again, that was trauma, that even kept me there, because I didn't even deal with my divorce. I just kind of fell into something. Are
you dealing with things now?
I am. Am I? What?
Is it really hard?
It's not so hard.
I just say that because I see myself in you a lot.
Yeah.
And you give me so much inspiration that, like, I can start to actually do the work.
Yeah. For me, when I tell you, like, man, when I sat with myself and I recognized everything that I had been through, like everything, like I've been to jail, like it's just so much I could tell you about myself. And the thing that always brought back to me was like, God pulled me out of every single thing. And he'll pull me out of this. Like, he's been right here this whole time. I've been looking for this father, and I had this man this whole time beside me. Every day, every step of the way, he kept pulling me. So once I kind of like embraced that, and I knew that if I opened myself to him, I know that he could align me, and just he'll do it for me. He'll get me to that purpose that I know that I have in me, that he has for me, And so with him, it really is not bad, like unpacking it, And now today I can say, I was triggered not too long ago, right? And
what do you mean by triggered?
So I got triggered by the person that I was dealing with or
Okay.
whatever. And to me, the trigger was that this person is not recognizing my boundaries
Okay.
and that I'm different because I'm doing the work. And it's like, I think this person think that they kind of have, still got some access to me in a sense. And it was like I lost a little bit of my power. Just in that second. Like I just gave it back to this person. So I definitely had conversation with my therapist, and she made me aware of something that kind of helped me, give myself a little bit more grace. And she said to me, everybody look at healing like this. This is A, that's B. Everybody think it's a straight line. When technically it's like this. It's a roller coaster. You're going to get triggered. Something is going to affect you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to circle back and feel something. Now, the grace that I do give myself is the fact that I dealt with it. Because that day, I was so, in my feels. I was, in my feels, real heavy.
Yeah.
But I talked about it. I dealt with it. I didn't do anything to, try to, take my mind away from it. I didn't do anything. I dealt with that feeling at that moment.
Okay.
And I came out of it very quick, and another thing she told me was, you came out of it quick. And again, you dealt with it. You never did that.
Right.
So you are doing the work,
Yeah.
It's okay, and so, yeah, it feels good that I'm actually dealing with these feelings. I'm not prolonging it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not allowing 10 years to come around and be like, oh, this is why such and such. No, I'm dealing with it now. So I'm not carrying that into my future relationship or relationships with anybody, because we hold on a lot, and it really, we bleed on people. And I don't think we understand that when we're not dealing with, our trauma. So dealing with it is head on.
That's your thing right now.
That's my thing. It's whatever emotion that I'm feeling it, and I'm so in control of what I allow in my life.
That is your glow.
Yes,
that's what your glow is right now.
Yes, even to what I'm looking at on TV, what I'm looking at on my social media. I'm disturbed by some things that I used to follow. I'm following now because it doesn't resonate with my spirit right now. It's not aligning with who I am today. So friends call me. It's hey, I'm good today. Your energy, I don't like it. I don't want to take that on. Call me back when you finish with it. Because I'm just so in control of what I allow into my life and just into my mental.
It's such a theme because when we first started talking, the first thing we really talked about is how all of that was taken away. Your control, your autonomy, you had none of it. You had to be a mom. You was molested, you know what I mean? You had to hustle. It's just, you had no control, and even your sexuality. And so your theme has been taking back your control.
Yes.
And your glow is everything. It
Thank
looks
you.
so good on you.
Thank you, girl.
When we spoke, I knew there was something there. I knew there was something there. And it was inspiring to see just how happy you are with taking back your control and doing the work. It's betting on yourself.
It's definitely betting on myself
giving
because
that.
it's all about me now.
You look so
I
good
literally
in
come
that.
first. Period. Because for so long I was pouring out of an empty cup. My cup was empty. And I didn't even. I'm again doing makeup for 15 years. I'm listening to these women every day. I was empty.
Yeah. Alrighty. So with everything that we talked about. And I appreciate you for sharing and being so vulnerable. Thank you so much because I really do see myself in you. What's something that you would tell yourself that you needed to hear?
So what I would tell my younger self is, it's not your fault.
Okay.
It's not your fault. You are not the blame of everything that's happening to you, and that you are loved. That you are loved, and I would definitely tell anybody, young now, period. Again, just going back to just deal with it.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Deal with it head on. I promise you. I mean, you could become a better you if you just deal with it head on instead of, again, bleeding on people and you're just picking up loads everywhere you're going, and you're just taking it into every relationship,
Yeah.
you know, and even with yourself, you know, deal with it. Because once you do it, when I tell you, it feels like I didn't even recognize I had that much luggage with me. I had a lot of baggage, you know, so, but now that I'm unpacking it, I feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
I feel so much lighter, and I feel freer,
Yeah.
you know, and confident. You know, I'm
telling
confident
you,
in myself.
I can't show you what I'm seeing, but what you're feeling is coming off of you.
Yes.
And it resonates. And I am so grateful to be in this space, to have this conversation
Thank
with
you.
you, because I'm inspired to unload and to deal with it and unpack and just move forward.
Yeah.
I'm tired of disassociating. I ain't got no damn memory left.
You
know,
tired of not living.
disassociating really will take away your memory.
Yes.
And I lost my mom, and I don't want to forget her. I don't want to forget how I was raised. I don't want to forget my childhood, because if something happened, I'm going to disassociate, I'm going to take away. But what about the good things in between, and how
That's
I
it.
saw my mom, and
That's
how I
it.
saw my life, and
That's it.
the good things I don't want to forget.
That's it.
So I don't want to try to forget the bad and erase the good.
Yeah.
And so you're inspiring
Yeah.
as hell to me to get to just get to it, baby.
Get to it.
Just get to it.
When I tell you that's the best thing you could do, because I'm gonna say something my grandmother said to me, and this could be it. Because I was so wanting to know, like, the bad things, like, what was this? What happened? Like, you know, even about my father. And she said something to me. She said, you know, look at you. She said, this person that they view him as, like, that has nothing to do with you. You come from him. So you're such of a good person. So you had to take in some goodness from him. So instead of looking at him like he did something wrong to you, just think about the life that he gave you, and look at what he presented. Like, look what he gave to us.
Yeah.
You know, you are a part of him. So, you know, this goodness had to come from him too, you know, because, I mean, you're not wicked, you know, so look at it like that, you know, which made me embrace it more, you know, like, and even the relationship with him, this newfound relationship, I don't even want to attack him anymore. For what? You know, then I'll be going back in my past, you know, and it's really nothing to unpack. I know what's going on.
Giving grace is healing.
It is.
It's healing.
It is. You have to. And everybody has a story. Like, you know, I recognize that instead of me looking at them and wishing that they love me the way I wanted them to love me, I have to look at it at they love me the best way they knew how.
Absolutely.
That's it. And that's just it. You know, I think we all, you know, timing and seasons is everything. You know, you just got to learn how to get out of them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Girl, you are her. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cree.
Let's cheers with our betting on me.
Yes,
Because
honey.
you, my friend,
I'm
are
definitely betting on
yourself.
myself. Yes.
It looks good, girl.
Thank you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.